The highway transportation system is comprised of people, vehicles, and roadways. Its main purpose is to move people, vehicles, and cargo safely and efficiently from one point to another. One of the many ways cargo is transported across the HTS is via oversize vehicle. Chances are you've seen an oversize, overweight vehicle motoring down the road with the big yellow banners on the front and the back of the freight that read wide load or oversize load in bold black letters. These oversize, overweight vehicles are used to transport a multitude of large cargo, such as heavy equipment and machinery, manufactured housing, bales of hay, building supplies and materials, portable buildings, homes, highway construction materials, wind turbines, and blades, to name a few. Transporting wide and oversized loads across the HTS is tricky and dangerous for the transport crew, as well as the general motoring public, which is why states have specific laws and regulations in place to help minimize exposure and risk. Aside from having to obtain permits to operate on public highways, vehicles transporting wide and oversized loads must be marked accordingly with flags, lights, banners, and signs, which help increase safety and awareness by alerting the motorist of the wide and/or oversized load being transported. Additionally, vehicles transporting oversized loads may be required to abide by travel time restrictions, which are intended to increase safety by limiting the days and times an oversized vehicle may legally operate on public roads. Some states not only prohibit the transport of certain oversized wide loads on weekends and holidays, but also specify that oversized, overweight cargo only be transported from 30 minutes before sunrise to 30 minutes after sunset. In some cases, depending on the size and type of load being transported, the use of pilot and/or law enforcement vehicles may be required during the transport process. Pilot vehicles help to ensure the safety of the motoring public and the safe movement of the permitted vehicle. Failure to comply with the laws pertaining to oversized, overweight vehicles and the transport of wide and oversized loads not only puts everyone involved at risk, but may also result in a fine. It's important for the general public to always drive defensively and be mindful of the difficulty involved in operating an oversized vehicle. The immense size and weight of these vehicles and their cargo make them very difficult to see around and handle. So here are a few things to consider when traveling alongside, in front of, or behind oversized vehicles. Stop behind an oversized vehicle. When stopped directly behind an oversized vehicle, loaded or empty, be sure to leave enough distance to minimize any obstruction to your line of sight. Your ability to see ahead or past an oversized vehicle to detect potential hazards and observe traffic lights, signs, or signals will be difficult unless you leave sufficient space. The space should be large enough to also allow you room to get around the oversized vehicle in case it stalls or breaks down, and to keep you from lunging forward into the back of it if you get rear-ended. At the very minimum, you should be able to clearly see the oversized vehicle's back tires touching the surface of the ground. If you happen to be stopped behind an oversized vehicle or an upgrade, hill or mountain, you'll want to make sure that you leave additional space to account for it rolling back. The extra distance should be ample enough to allow the oversized vehicle to roll back without it hitting your vehicle. Also note that oversized vehicles take longer to accelerate and get up to speed from the stopped position, so be patient. Longer stopping distance. Oversized vehicles take longer to stop than a normal-sized car, so it is important that motorists avoid sudden stops or erratic maneuvers that may cause the driver of an oversized vehicle to swerve or brake abruptly. In other words, don't slam on your brakes or cut in front of an oversized vehicle. Even if you're going to miss your exit or turn, cutting off an oversized vehicle and/or braking suddenly may cause the driver of the oversized vehicle to lose control and crash into you or other motorists. Even if they anticipate that you may cut them off, the time that it will take for the driver to react and brake, coupled with the longer stopping distance, will likely result in a crash. And when you factor in the weight of the oversized vehicle and its load, the chances of a serious, if not fatal, collision are increased. It is also super important that you are aware of the traffic behind you when approaching a stop, especially if you're in front of an oversized vehicle. Following distance. Motorists should avoid tailgating and always maintain a safe following distance when behind the wheel. A good rule of thumb is a car's length for every 10 miles per hour. 30 miles per hour equals 3 car lengths. 60 miles per hour equals 6 car lengths, or a minimum of 2 to 4 seconds between cars. However, when traveling behind an oversized vehicle, you should increase your following distance to at least 4 to 7 seconds. Remember, these vehicles are large and difficult to see around, so it's likely that your field of vision will be blocked or obstructed, making it a challenge not only to identify and appropriately react to road conditions ahead, but also spot traffic lights, signs, and signals. Increasing your following distance will help broaden your field of vision, allow you more time to identify road signs, changes, or danger in the driving environment, and help reduce risk in case an oversized vehicle unexpectedly decreases their speed or brakes abruptly. So always be aware of the space around your vehicle, scan the road, and adjust your following distance accordingly. Blind spots and mirrors. Motorists can increase awareness of their driving environment by constantly checking their mirrors and scanning the road ahead, to the sides, and to the rear. Just as you do with a normal-sized vehicle, it is important to stay out of an oversized vehicle's blind spots. That is, areas of the road that are out of the driver's field of vision and cannot be seen when looking through a vehicle's rear view or side mirrors. If you're traveling alongside an oversized vehicle, be sure to avoid sitting in its blind spot. If the driver of an oversized vehicle is unable to see you in their field of vision or mirrors, they may change lanes and hit you. Wide turns. Because of their large size and length, oversized vehicles have a wider turning radius than normal-sized passenger cars. So, to execute turns safely, oversized vehicles will often swing wide or move into an adjacent lane or lanes before a turn. Motorists should be mindful of this and avoid attempting to pass or get around an oversized vehicle when they're in the process of executing a turn. If you notice in this video footage, the oversized vehicle is taking up 3 lanes, and it also has a pilot car assisting by blocking the right lane to prohibit cars from pulling to the right of the oversized vehicle. In addition, it is important that motorists adhere to intersection stop lines to avoid getting clipped or hit by an oversized vehicle that is making a left turn from a perpendicular road. In most cases, oversized vehicles will have assistance from pilot or escort vehicles to help direct traffic and ensure its safe movement. Passing and changing lanes. Passing maneuvers are tricky and dangerous under any circumstance. But when the procedure involves an oversized vehicle, risk increases greatly. It's always best to err on the side of caution. So if a pass cannot be completed safely, then it should not be attempted. Motorists should know that it takes longer to pass an oversized vehicle than a normal-size one. And because of their large size, a driver's field of vision may be obstructed, making it difficult to see ahead. Additionally, when you have escort vehicles to the front and rear of an oversized vehicle, the time required to complete the passing maneuver safely increases even more. If you determine that the pass can be completed safely, be sure to check your mirrors, blind spots, and make certain that the lane you intend to use is available. Oversized vehicles often occupy multiple lanes during transport. So before attempting a lane change or passing maneuver, you'll need to account for the width of the oversized vehicle and its load. Be sure you can see the entire vehicle in your mirror before returning to the original lane. Oversized vehicles are big and slow. Remain patient and never allow your emotions to dictate how you drive. In other words, don't take unnecessary risks. Driving environments within the highway transportation system can change quickly and in some cases without notice. So to help minimize risk, motorists must constantly scan the road, ahead, to the rear, and sides. Be aware of the space around their vehicle. Simply put, pay attention. Focus on the driving task, and remember that oversized vehicles are tough to manage and take longer than a normal-sized vehicle to take off and get up to speed. So, be patient.